my name is Rosa Coker, and I'm going to be doing a persuasive speech on abuse of authority. And this is my group. Yay. So my research topic today was how we can protect our children with disabilities, and explaining how they are such at a higher risk of abuse versus a regular child. To show this, the abused children with disabilities are at a higher risk of abuse than any other child by their caregiver, their teacher, sometimes even their own parents. So I was reading the Gazette Journal. I'm sure everybody's heard of it, being that we all live in Virginia. In the Gloucester Gazette, back in May of 2011, there was a couple that apparently had 3 children total, but the neighbor only met 2. Mm-hmm. So come to find out, there was a theft in that neighborhood, so the police came and asking questions in all the houses and everything. They went into the house and they found this child in the crib. This was a crib that was a makeshift cage. Mm-hmm. So the child was inside the cage, it was covered. She was actually eating the flakes off of her skin. Mm-hmm. Giving me goosebumps. She was in a diaper and a t-shirt. She had been there for almost, like 6 months, something like that, because this was a fall. Well, no, this was May, almost a year, because it was last summer they stated that she was there. She was only 6 years old. The neighbor said that they seemed like nice people. He even noted that they had seen a baby boy, but they never actually saw that 6-year-old girl. Come to find out later on, they walked around the house and were checking things and things of that nature. Beside their shed was a grave. Inside that grave was a little boy's remains. So not only did they have just those 2 children, they had 3, and they just now got put in jail for 30 years because of all this craziness. So it just proves that everybody tries to teach you stranger danger, but it's not always a stranger that causes the abuse. It's not always the stranger that's taking them. It's somebody they know, because it's got to be somebody they trust. So I thought about it, and this one, it really hit me hard. I prayed over it. I was like, what do I really do to speech on? Because I don't want to sit here and read things to you, but just to keep me on track. It really hit hard, knowing that many of us have been to our local schools. We've been shopping in local stores, right? We've even been to a friend's house, or possibly even a family member's house, and we've seen it. Verbally, physically. It's so many ways that you can torment a child without knowing that you even are doing it. So it hit home. It hit really home. Some statistics that I came up with is 1 in 3 children with any identifiable disability for which they receive a special education services are victims of some type of maltreatment. It's either neglect, physical abuse, or sexual abuse. Whereas only 1 in 10 non-disabled children experience abuse, period. Children with any type of disability are 3 times more likely to be a victim of some type of abuse compared to children without disabilities. And that was from Sullivan and Nunston's Facts Online. Bringing awareness is the first step to fixing this. People aren't aware that it happens. Or they just don't care. Or they're afraid. So my 3 things are: 1, bringing attention to it. 2, bringing education around it. Facts state that it takes 90 days to build a habit. So if you're in social work, if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, if you're just a parent, I think it should be imperative that if you have a child, you have to take these classes every 90 days to 6 months. It only makes sense, because every child's not going to be the same. You can't treat them the same. You can't tell them no the same these days and age, because they're going to react in a different form or fashion. People don't know how to tend to it. So, what was that? Children with all these disabilities and abused children without disabilities. Studies show that the rates of abuse among children with disabilities are variable. So they're ranging lower now at a 22% versus at 70% based upon National Research and Council 2001. So this is 13 years later. If we drop down to 22% from 70%, maybe we might be at, 10%, 13%. But every time you put on the news, what do you see? Somebody's shooting somebody. Somebody's angry at somebody. Just recently I saw a young child with a disability. He could barely walk, he could barely talk. He was crippled to begin with. But this poor child was trying to walk home, and because he had a colostomy bag on, they thought it was a gun. So what they do, they shot him. They didn't even stop. They didn't even, hey, draw guns, nothing. They just shot him. They killed the little boy. This was like 2 years ago or something like that. I read it online. I literally Googled abuse of children, and more disabled children came up than any other child. My next thing that I was thinking about as far as to seek assistance is education to the children. Because bullying is a type of abuse. Bullying leads to violence. Violence leads to death, you know, and we don't want to see that. So my last point is just educating our children inside our schools, using the time, using the time to, sorry about that, technical difficulties, give me 1 extra minute because of that. And so bullying leads to abuse. So if we bring it to the children's attention, what they can, what they can't do, what they can say, how they can stop that situation, not just, hey, go to your teacher. Because 99% of the time, teacher doesn't care. Teacher doesn't do anything. Teacher's just as scared. So my whole thing.
Lonnie, go tell them we're in here.
Did you pause it?
No, I can't. Keep going. The door's right there.
Use your iPad.
There you go. Go tell them to put the light on.
Sorry, guys. I was right at the end, too.
You know where the light's at? In there, right in the hallway?
Right on the side by the nursery. Oh.
There you go.
All right, see then.
Nice switch.
No, we're all here.
No, they know.
Hey, stand out there by the light switch. This way they don't flip it off no more. Go ahead, you're good.
Huh? Oh, we're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
keep coming.
Sorry about that again, technical difficulties, don't take points off for that. So, last but not least, I just want to say, although there are no single public policies, initiatives, and addresses to abuse of children with disabilities, yet we have the Crime Victims with Disabilities Awareness Act back in 1998. We do have the Disability Status of U.S. National Crime Victory Surveys allowing us to capulate on the issues that have happened so that we can change, like how technology changes and we adapt to that, how abuse, different types of abuses are encountered, and how we can be proactive with it. So that's just about my whole material right there. It's all around education, it's all around vocal, it's all around communication and child abuse. Thank you.